Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Wow, May is a breath of fresh air as some really supreme luck and goodness comes to you in the house of your significant long-term committed love relationships, but also the place where you meet others that are important to you, including an audience or client or marketplace. Some of that might reverb to some property opportunities for buying or selling, as well as some significant change energy coming through the house of work. Yes, there's a lot going on, but most of it is good and feels a hell of a lot better than those eclipses of March and April. So let's break it down into details of what is going on during the month ahead. But before we begin, welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you are one of my regulars. My name is Lori Lothian. I am using the Western Tropical Zodiac whole sign houses. I love those fixed stars and minor asteroids. And I put a lot of that content out in my 30 to 40 videos every single month. Usually all of my content is all signs. The only promotion I have to share with you this month is simple. I'm giving things away. And if you want to be a part of the big giveaway, the May Madness, to celebrate hitting 60,000 subscribers, I'm giving away readings, I'm giving away courses, I'm giving away my 2024 All Signs bundles in a weekly draw off my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter subscriber list. In order to be in the draw, please subscribe to my newsletter. There's going to be various ways to enter the contest. You won't even know how to do that unless you're on my newsletter. And why not? It's a swig of weekly cosmic astrology news in your inbox every Saturday as I write about the week ahead for you. Now let's get back to the order of the day. Oh, and how to subscribe. It's in the description box below. Now, what I want to talk about, Scorpio, is this. Your planet is Mars, yeah? Mars rules you. So let's talk about what he does this month. We're not covering, by the way, the moons this month. No new moon, full moon stuff. Because I do big, long, deep dive all signs videos every single month on that. Why would I do that here? It's just repeating the content. But this is a breakdown of the big events of the month for you. And one of the biggest things for you is Mars. You see, Mars is a planet that rules you, Scorpio, not Pluto in the ancient world. And Mars is leaving behind his swimming lessons in the sign of Pisces, which has been there for 6 weeks. That's your fifth house of romance. Could have been a lot sexier in your bed. It has things to do with your ambitions, your entrepreneurial, creative projects. Your children, maybe some fighting with your children last month, 6 weeks before all of April. But now he's moving in May out of that part of the sky into his home kingdom of Aries, where he's very powerful and very strong. Now, that is your sixth house, and that involves your workplace. And he's going to land his butt there on April the 30th and won't leave until June the 9th. And that can make you driven like a workaholic because he's in the house of his joy. And you may be driven to do a hell of a lot of work. You may be passionate, willful, strong, and ambitious in the work environment. And that's expanded by the fact the North Node is here as well. However, there is a possibility of burnout or quitting. Sometimes when Mars is here, you quit the job quits you, because maybe it's just time to go, I'm done. Or somebody in the work, co-worker, colleague space quits. And if that happens, well, that could be beneficial to you because Mars is in his joy, he's your ally, and you could rise to the top because there's a space available, someone else left. Let's put it this way. Work matters, and work routines and work environments are going to be a big, strong focus for you. Mars only goes through this part of your sky once every 2 years. You want to pay attention. Be careful. This is a house of sickness, and Mars can be inflammation, rashes, fevers, and stuff like that. Heat, maybe injury, especially to your head. So just be a little more cautious about not doing reckless things or walking through poison ivy or something. Now, this is a house of sickness, and you can make changes in your life that are dietary or action or movement oriented to improve your health, especially dietary changes in your case, because as Mars moves through the house of his joy, all praise Mars, he does flow to your Sagittarius second house of what you ingest, and there could be opportunities for dietary shifts as well. Now, I do want to say that Mars aside, we do have some good Venus action for you. Mars is in his home kingdom. That's what's wonderful about this month, but so is Venus. Now, Venus is going to be leaving Aries, where she'd been traveling for 3 weeks out of a place of her comfort zone in her detriment or exile. And that might have meant work felt hard. There was lack of coordination or necessarily great harmony in the workplace while she was there. And Aries for the, early April to the end of April, but on April 29th, she leaves that part of the sky and moves into your seventh house of committed long-term love relationships. And this can also be about those partners in business that you engage with, or sometimes the audience and clients and customers you have to work with. Those are the people of the seventh house. When she enters your marriage house, in essence, for the love story part of it, it means a beautiful time in the relationship or for the partner you're with, as Venus gives that person the glow up of luck and goodness, or the relationship itself. Both of those can be true. Now, if she enters into this part of the chart, as I said, April 30th, and does not leave until May the 23rd, making those first 3 weeks of May very, very dreamy, very happy and harmonious and lovely with the one you're with. If you're not with someone, it's not a bad time to meet someone. As Venus goes through this part of your sky in the first 3 weeks of May, flows back to Saturn and Neptune in the house of romantic love. That could cement a new relationship into a long-term commitment for some of you Scorpios. So in other words, go on a few dates during the first 3 weeks of May. Venus here can help you get legal contracts and agreements to work out perfectly on your behalf. Any kind of sign on the dotted line will work out very well. And we're going to talk later about how some of this may apply to real estate and property deals. When she's here, as I said, your significant other may encounter prosperity, luck, and goodness in their life. So look for them to have a glow up as well. She is joining, of course, Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus, and this is going to be an exciting month in your seventh house of significant relationships or the client's marketplace and audiences to which you are integrating, interacting with, and reaching out with. Okay. Jupiter. I forgot to say this for the sign before. Jupiter, ho, 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 Santa Claus, on the 25th of the month of May, leaves for a whole year. He's been for a whole year in your seventh house of marriage. And that could have escalated to moving in with someone, a deeper commitment, engagements, getting married, plans to get married, new relationships that were really bounteous and prosperous, or all of that good stuff. Very, very few of you Scorpios would have ended a relationship with Jupiter in your seventh as a blessed ending. That aside, on the 23rd of the month, 25th of the month of May, Jupiter exits your seventh house and enters your chunky money house for a year. I'll be doing a whole video on that, but starting on the 25th of May, add a year, you're going to be experiencing the possibility of more success in terms of inheritances, money from sale of properties, the ability to generate all kinds of money that's not specifically earned income. And so it's going to be very lucky in the money story for you during that window of time. Finally, Mercury. Mercury is moving direct back in April on the 25th, thank God. And he's going straight forward and speeding up in your sixth house of work. If you've had work difficulties, miscommunications in your work through most of April until the 25th, things going wrong those first 3 weeks of April with colleagues and coworkers, or botched medical tests and miscommunications about your health, thank goodness he's going to go direct. And as he goes direct, and even difficulties with rentals, leases, and lease contracts, and as he goes direct, you start to feel a little bit more clear-headed about, or your workplace matters are more clear-headed and more simple and more clean and more direct. He is direct all through the month of May until May the 15th. So he's in direct motion for the first 2 weeks of May, speeding through your workhouse. It can be a very good time with the North Node there and Mars for new contracts or agreements that you're really excited about for job and work situations, including getting hired or taking on a new job or hiring an employee. All of those are good for you during that time. When he was retrograde in April, a lot of you may have heard from people from your past, old work colleagues and coworkers coming out of the woodwork. And some of that direct motion may be an extension of that, where now you're going to keep going on with that communication with those people, and it's going to lead you to some really good prosperity or good directions in your work and career. Now, Mercury is going to also move into Taurus. That is your house of legal contracts, deals, and negotiations, as well as significant marriage and relationship people, as I mentioned. Now, when Mercury moves into your seventh house, which is going to happen for you on May the 15th to June the 3rd, we also, I may remind you, we'll have Venus there on the 23rd of May. This simply means the 23rd of May to approximately June the 3rd, it's an ideal time to sign legal agreements and contracts that involve potentially with Pluto in your fourth house, property, land, and real estate matters. So keep that in mind. That could be a very auspicious window for those kinds of legal agreements to be forged and to be completed successfully. Or contracts or agreements with new business partners or allies in your work and business environment. Alrighty, we're going to move next into the idea of the breakdown of the details of the month bit by bit. We're going to get a pen or a paper because you won't remember them otherwise, and then we'll get started with May the 1st to the 4th. Now, starting off the month of May on this note is going to be a challenging square between Venus and Taurus in your marriage type house, 7th house, to Pluto in your 4th. This is a bit of a tension that can happen between you and a significant other regarding matters to do with property, wealth, homeland, and real estate, including legacy wealth or inheritance. Don't forget, Jupiter at the end of the May goes in at the end of the month of May, goes for a year into your inheritance house. So there may be some objections or difficulties regarding legacy wealth involving a female bubbling up in your face, or maybe around May the 1st, give or take a few days on either side. But at the same time, May the 1st to the 4th, Mars is forming a flowing relationship called a sextile, which is powerfully positive when it comes to matters of Mars in your 6th house of rentals, agreements, rental agreements, tenancies, pets, things to do with debts, to Pluto in the 4th house. So examples would be a powerful, exciting, joyful movement towards being able to pay off a debt, maybe for money from a legacy wealth situation, a family member, a parent or grandparent, maybe an opportunity for you to find a great new job that allows you to power up something better in and from your home. Maybe some kind of situation with a pet, in this case, a big one, Pluto's Mars, like a biggie, a big Dobie or something, or a pit bull coming into your life. And new developments and positive changes regarding property that is rented out either by you as a landlord or as a tenant. That's happening for you on May the 1st to the 4th. On May the 12th to the 14th, there's a couple of things going on. First of all, the Sun will co-join Uranus. Now, Sun and Uranus together just means surprise. Sun can be purpose. It can be downloads and ahas as well. And this is happening in the sign of Taurus. And so that's your other people. And it could be your significant other has a surprise for you or comes to you with this surprise development in their career. So some big surprises going on in the 7th house of other people around May the 12th. And then on the 14th, like in that time frame, the 12th to the 14th of May, you're going to see Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and money and wealth, in that 7th house, where the surprise is happening, talking to Saturn in a nice conversation called a sextile. So Venus looks back over her shoulder, Saturn in the Pisces waters of your 5th house. Now, with that surprising Sun conjunction to Uranus, there is a possibility, I'm not going to say a probability, but a possibility of a surprise that your partner has for you connected to 5th house matters. And 5th house matters also include pregnancy. But if it's not something like that, because some of you don't have a partner, so it's not even going to be about those matters, it could be some surprising developments in your life. If you're an artist or creative putting content into the online world, Uranus represents that part of the reality that is the online world. So you could go surprise, and suddenly you are experiencing something extremely positive in your online presence or in your what you put it out into the world. Now, the Sun does conjunct Uranus, as I said, on May the 12th, and that is something to put on your books. But Venus will do the same thing later on May the 18th. So those two are all one big energy of surprise. So keep that in mind. Now, I'm going to take a little note here to write something down. So it's kind of like a pileup. We have so much going on around May the 17th to the 22nd. So we're going to talk about that later on when we get to that part. But I want you to know that what you feel happening here on May the 12th to the 14th with this kind of Sun Uranus thing going on in the house of your significant partner, and hopefully, or maybe if you want, it's pregnancy because Venus is sextiling Saturn in the house of fertility, but it can also be a blowout of success in some kind of creative or entrepreneurial project or endeavor. Now, moving into the next phase is that window of, it's chock-a-block, guys. The 17th, the 22nd of May is like, catch your breath. I'm calling this the lucky strike month for all of my videos, because on May the 17th, alrighty, we see this energy of Jupiter in the heart of the sun. Now he's invisible. He's planting a seed in Taurus, and he doesn't do this seed planting here but once every 12 years. So he's planting a prosperity, abundance, and luck seed for you in the Taurus part of your chart, which is your marriage, your clients, your audience, and your marketplace, Scorpio, for the next 12 year? Well, the next year, because the next year he'll do the conjunction in Gemini. So the next year he bakes in a vibe starting around May the 17th of Yeyu. It's time to be really lucky in your 7th house matters. And your partner gets really lucky too. Now that's a Jupiter that's invisible, and he's planting a seed. Keep it in mind. And he will be planting that seed as an archetypal energy that plays out for a year. So keep that in mind. So it's not just about the day of the 17th, but at the same time that's happening on the 18th, then Venus is co-joining with Uranus. Happy, lucky surprises around fertility and pregnancy and money and wealth and legal contracts, and maybe going viral with some kind of Uranus, internet thing that you pump something into the world. If you're a creative artist or whatever, that could happen. And at the same time, as we go closer to May 22nd, then we have the Sun and Neptune conjunct as the Sun moves into Neptune. And that's a beautiful energy of spiritual upliftment, divine energy, soulmate energy, etc. And it's so chock-a-block, this part of your chart that is your significant others, between audience, market, client, place, and marriage stuff. It's fantastic. Again, if you are a single Scorpio, it might not be a bad idea to be dating in the month of May, because this could bring you a love of a lifetime. If you're with your love of a lifetime, it just increases the love. And or fertility. On May the 23rd, now we're moving forward. On May the 23rd through to the 28th, we also have another chunk of action in the sky. The first thing is on May the 23rd, Venus and Jupiter combine forces. It's a planetary war in India, but in modern astrology, we just say it's very lucky. A goddess of luck and a god of luck come together. I think it's lucky because Venus is at home in her kingdom. She's stronger than Jupiter. And she's going to hold the space for Jupiter. And Jupiter has just, been born again, come out from under the beams of the sun. He's still under the beams of the sun, but she joins with him, and they hold hands together on the 23rd of May. And there's a beautiful energy here of luck upon luck. And it does apply to the idea of committed and long-term love. Sure, you could have a lucky legal agreement, a contract, something lucky in the customer, client, audience, marketplace world that you've tossed something out there, or supreme luck for the significant other that you're with. But certainly we're seeing really May 17th to the 23rd, just a beautiful time. And while Venus is conjunct Jupiter and they hold hands, they both are flowing to Neptune. And that's that thing again where it elevates it to unconditional love, oceanic consciousness, dreamy, soulmatey vibe. And the 5th house is a part of where Neptune is, and that has to do with what brings you joy, enjoyment, passion, and romance, and creativity. Some of you are having a dream outcome here, your dream romance, your dream love, your dream pregnancy, your dream creative project. And then the other energy I want to talk about is May the 25th, where Venus, the goddess of love, now has moved into Gemini. Remember, I told you she moves into Gemini, which is your 8th house of, drum roll please, chunky money. She gets there on May the 23rd. Like it's the same day she conjuncts Jupiter in Taurus, but then she slips pretty quickly later on in the day into your Gemini house. Now, Venus and let me just double check the date of her Gemini ingress. I want to double check that. I think that should be a little later. When does she ingress there? Just in case my brain went off the old line, offline. Yeah, well, it's May the 23rd or 4th, depends on where you live. Yeah. So So Venus is now May 23rd, 24th, moved on into the sign of Gemini. And as she's in the sign of Gemini, she flows to Pluto in early Aquarius. Now, let's talk about that because that's really lovely. This is about property, land, home, and real estate, or legacy wealth and deals and contracts regarding the property, home, and real estate matters of your life. Certainly, it can be a beautiful opportunity. Some kind of like, oh, sorry. Yeah, like the chunky money, and you want to buy something, this is the ideal time for either selling or buying a property. If you're in the market for that, if this is something that makes sense to you, then you can look forward to some success or breakthroughs in those areas of your life around the time of this action in the sky, which again is May the 25th, a day or two before or after, especially after May 25th, 26th, 27th. Look for wealth opportunities. Now, nobody wants to get an inheritance, but you're getting Jupiter there too, right? In there with Venus. And this can look like a wealth opportunity through inheritance monies emerging around the third week of May 2024. Jupiter also on May the 30th trines that same Pluto. He's in your chunky money house with Venus now. They both moved into Gemini. And so again, lucky breaks around chunky money and legacy wealth, property, home, real estate, and land on May 25th and May 30th. And on May 30th, Uranus conjoins Jupiter in Taurus. Taurus is the house that has to do with legal contracts and agreements, your significant other, that seventh house again. So there's some surprising news or information or phone calls or text messages from somebody else in your life, even maybe your significant other, coming through during this abundance and prosperity and luck of the Venus, trine Pluto from your chunky money to your fourth house. And also, of course, Jupiter trine Pluto. Now, I do weekly astrology videos and I break it down a lot more. And so if you really want to get more information about this with the stars, asteroids, and other details involved for your sign in more depth, please sign up. Because I'd say things to you I can't say here, and I don't have time to say here. But one of the things I'd mention is that Venus, in this condition of her dignity, right, moving through this part of the sky, is the exaltation lord of your fifth house, where all this other good stuff is happening with Neptune. And this, to me, it makes this one of the most supremely fortunate journeys through creativity, procreativity, entrepreneurial success, creative hits in the marketplace, and luck around money that may be about inheritances, property, home, land, real estate, selling, and buying. Good luck with all of that, Scorpio. I'm wishing you an amazing month ahead. Let me know how it goes in the description box below. My Patreon community receives this video April the 14th, way ahead of you guys. If this kind of early access ad-free content is important to you, because you get this about 7 days later, then sign up for Patreon for a mere $5 a month, no ads to listen to. But if you also join my Patreon community and you're new, other than the weekly or monthly, 3 times a month meetings with me on Zoom, depends on your tier. If you join in, you get my 2 free courses, Synastry, Are You My Person Synastry Relationship course, and my class on Chiron, the Key to Purpose. Those are replays, valued at $44 on the market right now. You get them for free as my way of saying, give me a try. If you don't like what I'm doing, then you can leave and keep the course content forever. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and have a wonderful month of May. Uh-oh, I don't think I stopped it.